I just finished watching my first film for 2025, and it's a Netflix exclusive. In January. So you know what that means? Not good! Let's talk about Ad Vitam. Before I review this film and what will surely be the most captivating thing you watch all day, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel and liking the video if you find yourself liking it as it's going, I would appreciate it. If you've been watching me for a while and you love my content, check me out on patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. Tons of exclusives over there, and it's the best way to support this channel. All right, let's get to it. Ad vitam is a Latin word meaning for life, which is kind of ironic because I wanted to kill myself trying to get through this film. I'm being a little dramatic. It's not that bad. It's just not particularly good either. This is a 90-minute, what should have been quick, slick thriller with some decent action. But instead it's a very slow-moving story that focuses on all the wrong things. I don't know who this movie's targeting because there's not enough action for the junkies out there, there's not enough intrigue for the thrillers, and there's far too much melodrama for either. Our protagonist of the film is Franck. He works for the GIGN. He's one of the best of the best. The GIGN is a French police tactical unit. These guys are who you call in when you need shit done. But after a job goes sideways, Franck is kicked out of the crew, forced to settle down with his wife and their expected newborn. Narratively speaking, this movie's troubling because it starts out on such a stupid premise. We have this couple who both at one point worked for the GIGN. So these two are highly skilled, highly trained professionals who should be able to spot an issue, know how to get out of a bad situation, and maybe think about things for more than 2 seconds, which is troubling when the movie starts with their place being ransacked and then repeatedly ransacked. What does Franck do? Nothing. I think he puts like a harder deadbolt on the door, but they stick around, even though he knows what they're after, which is a crucial piece of evidence that's gonna put some bad guys behind bars. This is your typical Mission Impossible-esque storyline where our hero is being framed for something he didn't do, and he's gonna spend a good chunk of time on the run trying to flee police and take down the ones that are truly responsible. But as I said, there's not a lot of action in this movie until the final 30 minutes. We're instead gonna focus on some really unnecessary things, like the training academy, going through the couple of years with his wife-to-be, the budding friendships. And while all these items can definitely enhance the narrative and lead to something more impactful down the road, it doesn't. And the dialogue isn't drawing me in. It is, of course, subtitled unless you speak French. The dialogue is about as basic as it gets. There's no real humor in this movie. It is incredibly one note. It's serious, which makes the ending all the more comical because it's so unserious in its approach. I am going to get into spoilers in a second because I have to talk about some of this stuff. Visually, the movie is fine. Everything is just fine across the board. It's doing nothing special at all. And that's okay if you got a lot of dumb action or it's having fun with things. But again, this isn't. It's just so there and content being lame across the board. The villain is unremarkable. Our lead hero, while likable and certainly has screen presence, is not elevating the material in the slightest. There's one good action scene at the beginning where he and his wife are taking on a bunch of intruders in the place that they for some reason continue to stay in after getting broken into twice. Come on! And then there's a car chase at the end of the movie that's got a bit of that Children of Men flavor to it. The one cam shot that's moving to the different windows. Although Children of Men is a far better movie. I'm only referencing it because of this one shot in the film. All right, I'm gonna quickly fast forward to the final scene in this movie. Beep. We're in a shootout. There's a car chase. Our hero decides they're really after me because I have the thing they're searching for, the little badge with the blood on it. He jumps out of the car as it's going like 75 miles an hour. He's perfectly fine. He's trained. He knows what he's doing. One of the cars stays on his wife who is going into labor and bleeding out. And the other car with the main boss stops to go after our hero. This leads to a dirt bike chase where Frank gets off of the vehicle, runs through a farm field, and finds a perfectly laid out paraglider set up. I think it's actually called a paramotor when it's got the engine on the back. Frank sprints over to it while like 8 cops are right on his tail, like they could touch him. He runs over, he's like, and he takes off into the sky while the police are like, get back here, curse you. It felt like something out of a rom-com where our guy's late for the wedding, so he's like, oh, I gotta catch up to my bride. Keep in mind, this isn't even the silly part yet. The chase is still going on. They are miles and miles away from our hero and the main boss man, who somehow catches up instantly on a dirt bike. He gets into the main vehicle, crashes the thing into the hospital, and he's about to get in another shootout when kaboosh! Frank paraglide jump kicks him. He somehow caught up and found the exact location they were at. It was ridiculous. This is something you see out of an Ace Ventura movie or Austin Powers. Not a film that's supposed to be gritty and taking itself super serious. But to its credit, that was the only part I was actually enjoying because it got so ridiculous. Listen, the Mission Impossible movies are full of these kind of over-the-top moments, but they do it with such gusto and with such style that it actually works somehow and feels serious and practical. This did not. It felt completely out of place with the rest of the movie that's mostly just jumping off of things, sliding down rooftops, once in a while engaging into some hand-to-hand combat. But overall, it's just a slog to sit through. And that's really sad to say for a 90-minute movie. This should have been a wham bam done. The best thing I can say about Ad Vitam is it's not horrible, but that shouldn't be the benchmark. I know we're in January. This is the dumping ground for bad film, but come on, just don't waste your time with it, I guess is the bottom line. There's like 9 Mission Impossible movies you can watch over this. There's a bunch of James Bond movies. There's tons of action thrillers that are out there. Well, there you have it. My thoughts on this film. I want to hear yours. This movie's trending on Netflix. That's why I'm reviewing it. I'm making it a focus in 2025, like I did in the later half of 2024, to see some of these streaming movies that are trending, they're popular, they're being watched, giving them a quick review. Just because, a lot of channels cover all the big releases in theaters, I thought it would be fun to differentiate a little by handling both. Let me know your thoughts if you watched this movie. If you even made it through, I'd be impressed. Please like the video and subscribe to hear more of not just my big reviews, but also these crappy streaming films. And I hope I see you next time. Take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you checked out patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. That's where fans of my channel go to help support it. There are different tiers with different offerings, exclusives every month. We got multiple movie reviews. There's a vlog monthly, and these fine people get a shout out because they're at the upper tier level. Look at these gorgeous folks. They have really gone above and beyond to help support me in the channel, and I appreciate them. And even if you don't want to plop down $1 a month, you can just sign up for Patreon for free and become a member at no charge, just to see what's showing up at least and give you a better sense of it all. Appreciate your time. Thanks.